Hello, dear students. I am Dr. R.P. Bhatt, working as a lecturer in SVM Women's College, Ilkal. Today, I am going to deal with the functions of criticism. Before moving towards the functions of criticism, let us know what criticism is. Criticism generally means criticizing anything. It's a judgment. We go on passing judgments on one another as well. We judge another person like that he is a good person or a bad person, like that as well. And here we are having a different criticism which we have to come to know today, that is literary criticism. What literary criticism is actually? Literary criticism is mainly concerned with judging a work of art, judging a work of literature. So here literary criticism is mainly concerned with defining it, analyzing it and evaluating a work of literature. So in literary criticism, what we are going to do is we are going to study it, we are going to analyze it, we are going to evaluate a work of literature. And this criticism word has been derived from the Greek word kritikos, which has been used in the 4th century BC. Here, kritikos, criticism actually means a judge of literature. What we have to do here is to judge a work of literature in a very well manner. So as we have come to know about criticism and literary criticism, let us talk about the functions of criticism. What are the main functions of criticism and how these functions of criticism are going to help the readers? Let's see. The first main function of criticism is it helps for a better understanding of the nature and value of literature. What is the nature and value of literature that we are going to understand with the help of the functions of literature. And also we can better appreciate the pleasure which has been expressed in that work. Actually, literature is meant for pleasure. And what kind of pleasure has been used in that work of art? And we have to appreciate the pleasure which has been expressed. Pleasure is not just meant happiness, it is literary pleasure which we can only grasp by reading that work of literature. We can enjoy that work. When we enjoy that work, when we read that work of art, then only we can enjoy it. And that pleasure which has been expressed by the writer, we are going to appreciate with the help of the functions of criticism. So this is what the main function of criticism. We are going to understand the nature as well as the value of literature. And the second main function of criticism here is it helps to enjoy completely, and also it helps to emphasize the moral values of different ages and periods. As I have already told you, when we read a work of literature, we are going to enjoy it, and that taste will once again will be created by the critic. Who is going to create that taste among the readers? It is only the critic who is going to taste. It is only the critic who is going to create that taste among the readers. So when we taste that literary work, tasting here, tasting in the sense not tasting the pickles or something else, it is tasting of a literary work. And when we taste a literary work, automatically we will enjoy it. We are going to enjoy that work definitely. First what we have to do, we have to read the original text, and later on we have to go on reading the secondary source, that is the critical work which has been written by the critic. And when we read both the works, we are going to enjoy it very clear manner. And what are the moral values of different ages? spirits, that also we are going to understand with the help of this criticism. The critic will mention what are the values have been used in those works. Different ages have different moral values, and we are going to know what moral values were there at the time of the romantic age, what moral values were there at the time of the Victorian period, what moral values were there at the time of the modern period, what moral values were there at the time of the postmodern period. So with the help of criticism, we are going to understand what kind of values were there in those books. And the third main function of criticism is it helps to examine individual and distinctive qualities of a work of literature. Here we are also going to examine, the critic is also going to examine what is the distinctive quality of that work, what is the distinctive quality of the writer, what quality he is having, what distinctive quality is there in that book, that we are going to understand with the help of criticism. And the fourth main function of criticism here is it helps to express correct judgment upon the value and merits of a work of literature after formulating certain rules, which when examined will help the reader to form a better idea of literary merit. So before going to judge a work of literature, what we usually have to do is certain rules and regulations have been formulated to criticize a work of art. That has to be done by many of the critics. It is not the only one critic who is going to formulate so many of the rules and regulations related to criticism. It depends upon the ages also. The functions of criticism, it goes on changing from one age to another age. The rules, principles and regulations, they were also going to change from one age to another age. So depending upon that, we have to judge a work of art. So depending upon those rules, regulations and principles, we have to judge a work of art. A critic has to pass a proper judgment on a work of literature by knowing these principles and rules and regulations. The next main function of criticism here is it helps to make intelligent appreciation and distinguish between a good book and a bad book, and recognize for ourselves to get full value out of literary qualities. Here literary criticism also helps us to differentiate in between a good book and bad book. What is a good book? What is a bad book? To decide which is a good book and which is a bad book, we have to once again follow those rules, regulations, principles according to those criterias. That book has been written or not, that we have to see. That we have to see in the sense a critic must have to see according to those criterias, according to those principles and norms, that writer has written that work in such a manner or not, that has to be understood by the critic. And when the critic has understood these all rules and regulations, he will pass a judgment on work of literature, and we are also going to decide this book is good book or a bad book. So it also helps us judging a good book and a bad book. The next main function of criticism here is it explains the readers the poetic theory of the poet and create a taste for the readers to enjoy a work of literature. Here the poets are having so many poetical theories in their mind, and what kind of poetical theories the poets are having in their mind, that has to be once again expressed by the critic. And once again, when the critic will express it once again, the readers are going to understand the real poetic mind. What was there in the mind of the poet? That will be understood by even the readers. So it helps the readers to understand the poetic theory of the poet. There are so many poetical theories, so many formulas which the poet will make use in writing a poem actually. So that we are going to understand with the help of criticism. Next main function of criticism is it helps for the rethinking of thoughts and to learn and propagate the best that is known and thought in the world. Already, which are the best thoughts which are there in the classical period, once again we are going to propagate those ideas even in the future. We always used to follow those past thoughts and ideas, and even we will apply those thoughts and ideas in representing literature as well as in criticizing a work of literature. So these are the functions of criticism. And while judging a work of literature, what a critic must usually does not do is he must not have any prejudices regarding the writer. He must not have any misconceptions regarding the writer. If he develops in his mind some of the misconceptions and prejudices, he is not going to judge a work of literature in a proper manner. So, while judging a work of literature, a critic must not have any prejudices regarding the writer. If at all he criticizes a work of literature on the basis of his prejudices and misconceptions regarding that writer, his critical work is going to fail. So it will also affect on his career as well as on the writer. His honor will be spoiled. So the critic must follow these things while judging a work of literature, and criticism also helps us in understanding the merits and demerits of a writer. When a critic criticizes a work of art, he is also going to judge the qualities of the writer. When the critic criticizes a work of literature, the writer will also come to know what are his merits and demerits with the help of critic. So, criticism also helps us in knowing the merits and demerits. Each and every person is having merits as well as demerits. Nobody is perfect. Even the writer is also not perfect. Even the critic is also not perfect. Even we are also not perfect. Simply, it is kept in our mind that we are all perfect persons. Actually, nobody is perfect in the world. So, while judging a work of literature, a critic must be sincere. He must be honest to judge a work of literature. Then even the reader will also enjoy a critical work. Many of the critics in the modern time like T.S. Eliot, I.A. Richards, F.R. Lewis, W.B. Kerr, George Sainsbury, and many other critics have labored much in the field of criticism with the Chicago School of Criticism. Criticism became an important form of literature. Criticism is the most important form of literature. So, we have discussed about the main functions of criticism. So, I thank you for watching this video with a great patience. Thank you once again.